think we're all anticipating a douche. We'll be surprised if there's not a douche. Mango Lord with the Franks. Very solid pick. Whoa. Lion work.
I think
is
we've
actually-
discovered an issue with the monetization process of our podcast so far.
It's not bad. It's not bad. Lion work. Thank
This is
you
for the guy who. This is for the guy who doesn't even understand subscriptions
I don't
on
understand
Twitch.
it, but I like it and I appreciate it.
Thank you, Lionwork, for supporting the dream.
That guy came
And
to
Green
my.
Bay.
That guy drove 18 hours to my wedding.
Wow,
First time he ever saw me.
that's amazing. What? First time he ever saw you?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I mean, he'd never seen me before. He drove 18 hours with his brother to my wedding.
So he'd met you before,
Not in person.
right? He's a Warhammer guy.
No, we played WoW. Okay.
Okay. Well, now we got it. Now we got it. All right.
All right.
And Lionwork was the tank, I'm guessing.
We didn't have a tank.
And Boxer Saint was the banker.
Have you played WoW?
Yeah, for 1 month. I was a dwarf with a rifle.
No, we had. Lionwork was DPS. I was a healer. Lost a lot of good men to that game. All right, let's go. I'm at 16 seconds.
Yep, I'll count up to you.
I've sent chat for a while
8,
for sure.
9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16.
All right, Green Bay versus Mango. Green Bay, master of chaos. Totally anticipating a town center drop. If it doesn't happen, I'll for one be disappointed. Mango, kind of newer to the group here. Still earning his licks on the ladder. Mackie, any thoughts on this matchup?
Yeah, I'm really keen to see what happens.
Socotra, classic choice for Green Bay. He wants you close. That way his villagers don't have to walk as far. I've seen Green Bay Ville fight in almost every game I've ever watched him play.
He's already killed an extra goat here. There's no precision in what Green Bay does. Like there are occasionally moments where you can see the beauty of his play, but Green Bay is more of like a Scottish Highlander. Like he cleaves you with a two-handed claymore instead of trying to do some fancy footwork with the foil.
This goat is just like on display. He's like, I don't even need all the food. Just go ahead and take.
Yeah.
Go ahead and take 20 food off of it. Now he's going to it. There we go. Mango. Sending a third villager over to wood. Grab the elephant early. Elephants are really easy to lame and steal on this map, so I don't know if that's why Mango went to the elephant so early.
I like it.
Not a bad call.
I like it. I do that a fair bit.
Mango with almost a minute of idle TC time. Green Bay, not even a second.
Green Bay, wow. I think there's a lot of nerves that can come up on Socotra, but the funny thing is, once you get enough experience, people are so eager to clown and lame you just so aggressively, but that's kind of like their whole plan on the map. So if you can focus on securing your resources, you can kind of just relax.
Definitely easier said than done. A
Yes.
random hit on a house by Green Bay's scout. Just letting you know that he's there. Just let you know he's watching. He's seeing what's going
So
on.
he's taken. Oh, so but it looks like both scouts have taken 1 hit of damage.
There could have been a couple arrow shots on Green Bay's scout there, but Mango was looking somewhere else. Mango's point of view, he has not found Green Bay's town center yet. Green Bay has found Mango's town center.
Wait, I'm confused.
And here it comes. We're on the move.
He's at
villagers.
He's at 15 vills. He's going so early.
Maybe that's part of the plan.
This is very bold. Yeah. Yeah, this is way earlier than you would expect. I mean, if he's doing it 5 vills earlier than you would expect it, then
here comes a house from Mango. Very good reaction from Mango.
Oh, yeah.
It's not going to stop it. It's just going to delay it.
Yeah, okay, so...
Go ahead.
No, go.
So the typical Green Bay Burger TC drop happens between the 8 and 9 minute mark. So we're a full 2 minutes early on this one.
Green Bay almost lost one of his villagers, and it actually walked between the mill and a bunch of Mango's villagers, but I think it's just too much going on. Yeah, the lion is going to do more damage than Mango's doing right now. Mango's just not responding to this at the moment, but he's... Oh.
The douche has happened. Persian Town Centers will have twice the HP. You can see here 2,400 versus 4,800. So straight up Town Center fight. The Persian Town Center is going to work. That being said, Green Bay has 10 out of 16 vills idle. So your strength here, if you're Mango, is your vill production. And Lucas points out in the chat, that house was key. It pushed that town center out away from the food. And
the gold.
And the gold. And Mango, 2 golds, really. Mango can keep pulling in food. And that's going to be important to keep that town center working. Okay.
Yeah.
Feudal's probably not great call right here. Your town center's probably going down before Feudal gets in. Unless you repair it, and that's kind of a waste of wood. You're now using...
but he is repairing it.
You're now using wood that could have been used for a new town center.
Yeah, Green Bay's crying in chat about losing his scout, which I didn't even notice it until I saw it dying under the town center of Mangolard. Like, how did it get there? So and Mango is still scouting Green Bay's base, I should mention. So he hasn't given up yet.
Green Bay actually left an elephant on the ground back here with 1 villager to harvest it. Just complete disregard for any norms. Green Bay has 4 on wood. I think he'll need more to keep this going. And he has none on stone right now.
Wow.
You're going to need some stone. Green Bay can make 1 more town center. But he's going to need some stone after that. He knows that. He's a professional.
Yeah, I like this. A lot of people just say, like, the douche is not effective because all you need to do is ignore it. But then people are like, yeah, okay. So they start ignoring it. And then they're like, now, how long do I have to ignore it for? Because it's still happening. And, like, they don't realize the pressure of being innocent. What is Green Bay doing? Just rushes the town center. With 7 villages.
Mango does not have enough wood for another one. Does it require the full 275 when you're in Dark Age?
Yeah. No discount for Dark Age, but Green Bay's just chasing with vills at this point, so I think he wants to end it.
Here we go. Current vill count
is he good enough to do it, though?
22 to 19 in favor of Green Bay.
Yeah.
And this is his bread and butter. This is his favorite military unit, the villager. Both players have loom.
It never gets boring. Like, it just somehow never gets boring. And the thing is, it actually takes a lot of skill to win these villager fights.
Yeah, because once you kill a villager, all the other villagers stop if they're targeting that villager. So you gotta have some micro here. I think ideally you want 1 villager on each of the opponent's villagers.
And I think a
Mangalore
lot of people
thinking
again
about
think
coming into the
it's
fight
sorry.
here.
Green Bay even kills that house. So, Mangalore does not have a town center, and all of Mangalore's villagers are being pursued by Green Bay's.
Villager count 20 to 14 in favor of Green Bay. 20 to 13, 20 to 11.
Oh my god. Is there any way that Mango can come back?
I don't know that Mango has like where are you going, Mango? You trying to get a hill advantage or
I think he's trying to get away because he knows he's gonna lose the fight.
they're just as fast as you are. You're not going anywhere. Here you go. Green Bay's coming back for some farms. Obviously, you want some eco.
Green Bay's he's even saving some of his weaker vills, which is amazing. Cause he is planning for the future. He's making 2 farms.
Mango Lord says, well. Green Bay with the classic 11.
Man. Such an early assault from Green Bay. That was amazing. And I mean, looks like Mango's making one last stand.
Yeah, this is it. This is Little Bighorn right here. There's the GG call. A 15-minute game. Green Bay gets his victory. That's classic Green Bay. Most created unit is 1 scout for each. We're obviously not counting villagers there.
Yeah. So earlier when we were talking about potentially doing, I just mentioned doing like a 1 game per episode. This is why you can't do that, because I still need more. That only whetted. It was like an appetizer. It only whetted my appetite.
I mean, I don't even know what to say about these stats.
Yeah, what is there to say? I mean, the eco is interesting to me. Like looking at the economy of both players and seeing how far Green Bay was actually ahead, because he actually had a working economy.
All right, Seashell at Aristotle's home map of Alpine Lakes. Last time we saw Alpine Lakes in this league was against Clatchit, and Clatchit was not ready for Alpine Lakes. Aristotle went straight to fish, as we see him doing right now with the mill, and was all over Clatchit before Clatchit even knew what was going on. Seashell either seen that game or knows about this map and is going straight to fish. So this could be a good long game. Alpine Lakes has 1 lake with some deep sea fish here. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Teaming with the fish.
So that's 215 times 4.
860.
860 food. Is right there for taking. Fishing is also the fastest way to get food in. Is that right, Mackie?
Yeah, deep fish I think are slower than shore fish for fishers, but I honestly have no idea in terms of facts and things like that.
Alpine Lakes has both players on a little plateau, actually a pretty large plateau, where they have some wood, some gold, some stone, the classic berries. You have your sheep that both players are collecting right now. There's a little valley in between them with some resources. And then on this map, kind of to the south, southeast, there's some low-lying plains with more wood, more stone, more gold. 5 relics on this map out on the edges. So you can see some elevation. You can see some places to take good fights, some places to take bad fights. Walling looks to be pretty good for both players. They have some good wood lines they can run to. They can run walls up to that little lake.
Yeah, I would say that Seashell's base is looking more open. I think that the location of the pond, therefore, Aristotle lends naturally to walling, but I would wonder if Aristotle did do the natural thing and wall in like a smaller box there. Could we see Seashell using a dock to get through? That could be interesting. The golds for Aristotle are a little unsafe. So I think if he does wall, he'll want to make sure he walls nicely around. And I'm thinking the southern gold there for Aristotle.
Yeah, you
It is
almost
interesting,
wanna,
this map.
almost want
Yeah.
to come out away from that southern gold and go almost on the far end of that pond to keep the gold safe.
Yeah, I agree. Just keeping it out of archer range, but Seashell loses a scout.
See how much exploration Seashell has. Not much.
Yeah,
Not
probably
much.
not used to the scouting pattern for this map.
Ran right into that TC. Aristotle, a little more familiar. He's gone around the outer edge, found the lake. We see a few
Yep,
shots
that's an
on
easy
these
thing to
vills.
spot.
No hits on the vills.
So it's nicely done, though. If you look at this, you can see Seashell has actually taken more of the fish and seems to have balanced his eco a little better here. But Aristotle, running with experience, is about 25% ahead while aging up. Scout. Seashell says he wants his scout back. Aristotle declines.
Very low
And
TC time.
I guess that's Warboxer. Oh, he says that Seashell killed 2 of his sheep. So now they're in a feud state.
Now looking at it, this would be a good fast castle map. Parts mentions that in the chat here. Because I feel like this is pretty easy to wall, pretty easy to defend. Got a good amount of food. Because we're in feudal age and Aristotle still
Yeah,
has
both
5
players.
sheep.
Yeah. Yeah, so how does he transition? And where is he taking wood? Oh, he's Kamai, so he hasn't needed to build a barracks. And he didn't need to build a lumber camp, so he's just taking straggler trees. So he has a stable now and is making scouts. This is going to be a very early scout build, but Seashell already has his stable up too. And he's trying to wall. How is his response going to be to these Aristotle scouts?
Aristotle's starter scout just made a beeline to the fishing. And almost killed a villager. She made it away with 9 health. Another scout. So Aristotle's got these scouts separated. And they can easily be beat up by villagers, so...
Which is happening.
Got 2 wounded scouts separate. 3rd scout coming in. This one's
And
probably
spears.
not making it out.
1 spear out. Oh, a scout dies. 2 spears out for
out.
Seashell.
Yeah. And Seashell with 0 seconds idle TC time. Aristotle actually forcing himself into some idle TC time here with no food.
Gore is up. I'm guessing that is scouting. He's starting to wall now. But now Seashell's making scouts. And Aristotle's are idle. They see his.
No eco deaths yet.
Oh, Aristotle kills Seashell's last scout there, but a spearman cleans up Aristotle's before it can run away. But Seashell's continuing to make scouts.
Aristotle should be walled in pretty soon. You notice there's a 1 tile gap in the back. That's critical. Missing that would have been bad. Seashell not looking into walls just yet.
He's just slowly adding buildings in strategic locations. He's only just now going to his forage bushes as well. So he's playing pretty open, but as the Indians, I think he's going to want to put the pressure onto Aristotle.
So here the last walls for Aristotle I don't think these go up. You could kind of
No,
quick wall here.
Seashell's gonna get in.
Yeah.
Oh, that's very big. Seashell goes to the one on the hill for the hill bonus. Chases away 2 villagers.
One down. Waller boy from Seashell to Aristotle.
He has accused me of being that many times as well.
We have Aristotle's villagers. Another one down. They're running from the wood line, trying to get into houses. Khmer villagers can jump into houses if they need to. Yeah, almost a good opportunity to wall in these scouts there, if Aristotle had been watching. The outer walls will be finished, so Seashell scouts are stuck in there with Aristotle.
Look at this boxer. Aristotle had 2 villagers on berries, but they've both been idle the entire time. So Seashell's doing tons of eco damage without even really necessarily trying to apply pressure. But he is continuing to do that as well, just making sure Aristotle's paying attention to his scouts and can't just focus on maintaining his eco.
Yeah, one thing that impresses me every time I watch Seashell is how he can stay on the offensive, keep these scouts working, but also keep that idle TC time so low. 15 seconds right now.
Man, he's a systems engineer, so he builds his machine back home and then it just pews out soldiers.
And Seashell's eco looks very efficient.
Well, he is also a student of the arena map, so he's very used to creating fine-tuning his builds and making sure he's setting up very pristine macro setups of his economy.
So you'll see here, for some of the lower elo players, Seashell is kind of idling his scouts by swinging on the lumber camp. The lumber camp is going to be more expensive to repair than the house or the palisade
Did
wall.
not know that.
So, yeah, it takes half the amount of wood to repair a building that it took to build it. So with the lumber camp being more expensive than a house and a palisade, that's a good way to grind down some wood. Now, of course, you can get in faster with a palisade wall or a house. But if you're expecting repairs, even the mill would be good to hit.
Gates are apparently quite expensive to repair as well. But Aristotle fighting back with 1 scout, chased away by villagers though, and a second stable up for Seashell, who is halfway to Castle Age. It's going to be at least 2 stable camels. This is a build that I've been trying to get, so I'm really keen to see how Seashell pulls it off.
Aristotle not even sniffing castle right now, even with these
and did you
farms.
Yeah. And Seashell is so deadly right now. Aristotle fled with his 1 scout, but Seashell tracked it down with a spearman and killed it.
Another note, Seashell's scouts are on stand ground. You'll see they don't respond to Aristotle's scout. That's in part to keep them from being lured underneath the TC.
Yeah, but it's going to result in him losing a scout right here.
Yes.
He does get 1 kill back, but now he's not paying attention. He's going to lose this one for sure.
And that's not bad. At this point, you've done the eco damage.
Yeah.
You're almost to castle. You need to focus on getting those knights out.
Hey, the fact that he traded 2 scouts for his 2 scouts that he could do nothing else with was so key.
And for quite a few villagers in idle time.
Yeah, and look at the score lead here. 300 as Seashell hits Castle Age. 2 stable camels right now.
The market coming up for Aristotle.
He knows he needs to go up
Market
fast.
Market and stable will be the 2 feudal buildings.
Well, you don't actually need them with the Khmer, so
Oh,
the
that's right,
fact
you don't
that
even need it.
Aristotle's getting the market, it just goes to show you how far ahead Seashell is in terms of just setting up his economy, because now he's flooding in 2 stable production, these knights already have defensive upgrades, and he's about to wreak havoc on these Khmer buildings.
Actually, going to be camels. Indian camels get +4 damage to buildings, and they also counter. I guess what Cecil is assuming Hairstyle's going to do with some knights. The quick walls with houses from Aristotle, that's a good response. Right now he's just trying to buy time to get to castle. He's almost there. There's the click up to castle for Aristotle. These knights are going to get in. I think they're going to get to that wood line. That's not... Oh, there's a quick wall. The wood line will be safe. It's a tough spot to wall. It's hard to tell what's going on.
Yeah, but I feel like as Aristotle, right now you want to be focusing your full attention on figuring out how to come back in this game. You don't want to have to be focusing on whether or not these camels are going to sneak their way through, because at this moment we've all seen it. You know, when you're not hearing the attack notification because you're getting attacked in 4 places, and all of a sudden they're through.
Do you see some spears coming up in the queue for Aristotle? Another barracks. Some quick walls. These spears.
He's almost through, Boxer. He's in.
Oh, I didn't even see that. Into the wood line, underneath the TC.
Yep.
Now they are camels. They're not doing a ton of damage to the villagers, but.
And they're under the TC right now, taking fire. But the eco right now of Aristotle is so disruptive.
Aristotle could have also just jumped into these houses, but instead he ran all the way back to the TC, and he'll lose some villagers for it.
Yeah, it feels like Aristotle right now is struggling to stay afloat. He has 4 spears.
Alright, so inside the base is now safe. Those camels are dead.
Yeah, but Boxer, here's the key, right? Look at the economy of Aristotle, even though it's not being disrupted at the moment. Look at Seashells. He's on 2 town centers. He's putting up a 3rd town center right now. He's disrupting this much economy, and he's going for 3 town centers.
I also have 3 idle villas for Aristotle over by the blacksmith. They're kind of hidden. I don't know if he's seen them yet.
Where's that?
They're right behind the blacksmith over by the gold on the south side. But a lot of idols, 12 idols for Aristotle.
Oh dear. Yeah, that's not good.
Camels are in for a second time. They'll fight some pikes. Almost with a quick gate. Quick gate would have been good right there.
Yeah. More eco disruption now from these tanky Indian camels with extra pierce armor. Pikemen are following them in. But Seashell can do some serious damage right now, and the Vil lead is really starting to grow.
There we go. Hairstyle is using the houses. That'll keep the Vils protected a lot easier. These camels should die to these pikes. Aristotle doing a great job keeping those walls closed after the break-ins.
Seashell's idling his military production buildings right now. So the aggression looks like it will close out. He lost so many camels there. I think he could have done a better job of saving those, but at the end of the day, the damage that's really been done is Seashell is at 62 villagers, Aristotle's at 43.
Yeah, if you're in Aristotle's position, you know you're behind. What's the call, Mac? You just try to boom out of it? I mean, you really don't have the eco to take a fight.
This is when you start insulting the other player over chat.
Okay, maybe we'll see that.
Well, look at it like this, right? What Aristotle could potentially do is try and just build an army of, who knows, pikes and mangonels and push, because the army production right now of Seashell... Oh, but hold on a second. It looks like he's transitioning into Cav Archer.
Yes.
So
I was gonna say you don't really
there's
want to push with these pikes because it's so easy to transition to archers or cab archer. If you're
yeah, and
Indians.
if Aristotle seemed quite shaken after all of what was going on in his base, but if he had done it sooner, he might have gotten away with it. Right now, Seashell is transitioning into, well, he's almost got Bodkin right now, so he's not all the way, right? I don't see a university, so these Cav Archer won't be that strong for a while. Aristotle could potentially stall this out with something like skirmishers or scorpions, but the thing is, he needs to make sure his economy is set up to do that. And right now, he's got 2 lumber camps. The villagers are walking very far to gather the wood. He recognizes he needs more wood. And what's scouting? He has 1 siege workshop. Inside of that, let's see what we've got.
Scorpion and a mangonel coming.
Okay, so, and he is trying to find additional resources around the map. He's scouting on all sides. He has pretty good scouting information. He's continuing to make more pikes, so he is making the army. He's building a 2nd town center right now. I don't know if I love that. I don't think you can afford to run them both. I think he should be adding extra barracks because he needs an army that's big enough to do economic damage because he knows he's economically very behind, and Seashell's a very savvy economic player. So now we're going to see if Aristotle's army has... I mean, it's not big enough. With some micros, Seashell could take this down, but is he paying attention? Here comes the Mangonel. He's microing them. And he can just run away now. He doesn't have to fight this even, if he gets uncomfortable. But we'll get to watch them dance a bit here.
I'm not against the 2nd town center for Aristotle. You don't have to keep it producing. You can just use it to protect your vills.
Absolutely. I just feel like this army from him needed to have additional scorpions or something in order to protect the pikes at this point. But the Mangonel's down. Now Seashell smells blood. He's just trying to micro down everything. I mean, this is unnecessary, and he's obviously taking damage, but he kind of wants to end the game at this point. I think he senses that he's ahead. However, he's losing a lot of Cab Archer.
If Aristotle at home, Vil fighting some of the cab archers that are just harassing.
Yep, that never feels good to be in that position. He's still making farms though.
And he's making more scorpions. So we got 4 scorpions at home.
Yeah, but I think he needs to get some ranges up and make skirmishers because these pikes have no staying value against these cab archers. Cab archers can fight the pikes, but they can't fight the skirms.
Do you see this
Unless
pike
they want to.
on the southeast side for Aristotle? Just hiding in the bamboo.
Yeah.
He's just
Yeah,
chilling.
I really thought that he was going to do a lot more scouting with that.
Right, here we go.
Hit
Big
that idle
engagement.
military button. Okay.
The scorpions
Scorpions are firing.
on the
Yeah,
cab
scorpions are
archers.
good against cab archers. I think they're an underrated unit. And Seashell has to back off. But Aristotle needs to push. He's on a serious timer right now.
Seashell can go, and he is. He can go imp right now, and he did.
Yeah. I mean, Seashell has over 110 villagers. Aristotle has less than 70. He's losing some too to cab archer raids now in the left.
Yeah, not really responding to it, or... Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he's focused on this military? This advanced military he's using?
Well, he did get that house up enough to keep them out, but there's another hole now. Yeah, I think there's just a half measure. Now he's sending a small force to go fight that. If Seashell doesn't see, that one scorpion is strafing those cav archers, which is
Yeah, that was
nice, but
good. Those were good
now they're
shots.
not moving forward with the pikes. It's a decent cleanup. I think he's going to be able to get the rest because Seashell's busy at home focusing on this army from Aristotle. Aristotle is doing a good job of distracting Seashell, but Seashell's, I mean, he's making 6 range cav archer boxer.
Yeah.
How long can Aristotle hold against this on 1 TC, 2 TCs?
Yeah, I appreciate the effort, but the mighty economic machine that is Seashell, it's only going to be held off for so long.
Yeah, and his vill count is the same as when I last brought it up, but Seashells has gone up 10.
Lots of idle villagers on both sides. Seashell had 23 idols for a minute. Aristotle has 17 right now. Looks like maybe they're hiding in houses mostly.
Well, yeah, a lot of the times once you put them in those houses, it's tough to realize. That's just an experience thing too, right? You can see there's flags on these houses that have been there for a while. And there's the Imperial Age for the Indian civilization.
9 scouts coming out for Seashell. Thinking to go in after these siege weapons.
I mean, he could do so much with these scouts right now.
Oh yeah, they're almost one-shotting the scorpions. That's a massacre. All the siege.
Yeah, but no. I mean, Seashell's losing a lot of cav archer here, but very tough fight for Aristotle to take. Seashell has a much easier job, and he gets it done.
There's another
He's on the offensive
force
again.
of pikes and scorpions coming to the defense.
Yeah, and I mean, there still are rams in the base of Seashell, but I think that once he clears that up, he's gonna, you know, look, he's coming forward with a lot of vills right now. He's taking stone, he's taking map control. We haven't seen a castle yet this game. Oh, there's one there actually for Seashell in his base, a monastery as well, so he's ready for late game.
Yeah, Seashell had a castle up earlier on the front side of the base, but it was denied by that small raiding force. There's just too many cav archers. We have 40 military versus 15, 175 total pop for Seashell versus 91 for Aristotle.
Yeah, but it does make you think, like, a few extra units here or there could swing the tide of some of these battles. And that's where, like, little nuances in your economy come into play. And when you get affected that early with your economy, but here comes Seashell forward, dropping stables and a castle. So he's looking to close this out now. He's putting on a lot of forward pressure. He wants Aristotle staying at his base and not coming to bother him at home as he puts down another 3 ranges as well.
A lot of really good looking wood lines for Seashell in the back.
Yeah, he's looking like in a pretty tough position to raid here. He set his base up nicely.
I'm afraid Aristotle's trying to go to Imp. See some
he needs to be spending everything on military to hold this at this point because, you know, trebuchets are going to come out. There's 2 siege workshops coming out. There's going to be capped ram came in for Seashell. What else? He could do bombards. He's getting conscription. You know, he's putting a ton of units on the field.
There's Aristotle's Imp.
Yikes. You always know when you click that button, too, that it's a forlorn hope. Really, when I click Imperial Age, and I'm this far behind, it's because I've been too distracted to spend my money, and I feel like that's now the best shot. It's brutal.
There's holes in Aristotle's base. That makes you sick. So we now have light cav into the eco. Aristotle desperately trying to get on stone. Wouldn't drop a castle, I'm sure. The GG is imminent.
Wow. This is painful. The poor people are just dying now. And I mean, look at this queue. I mean, he's still making cav archer for Seashell. He's queuing up 5 stable light cav. He's got 4 workshop rams. He's got trebuchets coming out. He's got everything. No elephant archers though. Maybe he'll make 1 after this. I hope so. And Aristotle is hanging on, even though his score is 5,500 lower than his opponent's. I wonder if he has a hope. He has stonewalled in his other town center, including the gate, and is making barracks, so
Here's some Bill fights. This is just like a moral victory at this point. How long can you hold on?
Well, he wants that Imperial Age.
There it is.
It's not a true M to GG until you resign, right?
There you go. There it is. Good game, well played from Aristotle. Yeah.
You know what the M to GG is, Boxer? It's when somebody pushes all in and you snap call them and you lose and then you show them your hand. That's what waiting for the imp to come out is like, yep, you had me there for sure.
See about. Look at the stats. I really think that was an economic victory. You could see really going into Castle Age, just the separation that Seashell had from Aristotle.
Yeah.
Aristotle at 46 minutes had the same amount of resources that Seashell had 10 minutes prior.
Yeah, I mean, that was a great game, but I think that Aristotle did get up earlier to the feudal age to get those scouts out, and that's how he crushed Clatchit in his first game on Alpine Lakes. But I think the thing with this was not only was Seashell way more ready, I feel like Aristotle is now going to have to focus on fine-tuning that strategy, making sure that the fish are being like I saw in the beginning, one lady is taking fish and then she's walking back to the town center because the mill's not built yet. So early in that game, when you're trying to get that economic advantage, you need to be paying attention to every little factor. So we are looking at Gunner Gates versus Duke Canada on, you said this was Gunner's home map? Is Runestone?
Duke's home map.
Duke's home map. That makes more sense to me.
Duke playing the Khmer, so 2 back-to-back Khmer games. Not Duke's primary civ. And Gunner playing the Italians, which is Gunner's primary civ. Again, if you're just coming into the Kings League, all of these players have 3 civs they've drafted. 1 is unique to them, and 2 are potentially shared with a few other players. They also have drafted 1 map to be used as their home map when they're the home player. This is Duke's home map of Runestones, which is basically what people like to call the better Arabia.
It's very aggressive.
And I think that's, to note, the players already have Arabia as a potential home map. Home player can choose Arabia or their own map. So I think that probably summarizes Duke's game here. Just very standard, we're not looking at a Green Bay burger. I'm not anticipating.
We definitely are not looking at a Green Bay burger.
I'm not anticipating Ville fights. I'm not anticipating chaos. Duke's going to come in with a solid plan, a pretty meta build order, and just try to execute it as best he can.
I think you're right, but I'm curious to see if he's made any tweaks to his game, because I haven't watched him play a competitive game in a while. Gunner Gates, obviously, we saw him go up against Mike Jet 22 on Budapest recently, which was a real treat to watch. And if you are just joining us, like Boxer was saying, you can catch us also on YouTube at Kings of Age, where we post the VODs for this podcast, and soon we'll have it up on podcast services as well.
We do have Bricks in the chat for a minute. Bricks, did you cast your game? We're looking for VODs, buddy. We would love to just at least watch the VOD.
If you streamed it, Bricks, let us know.
I'll play that game next if you have it. Anyway, back to this game. Gunner, I am expecting a little bit of chaos. Just from conversations with Gunner. He's not super meta. Doesn't exactly follow build orders. He likes to have rough, dirty games. So these are kind of 2 opposites in the spectrum here. What ELO range are we talking, Mackie? At least 1,100 to 1,200 players.
Yeah, I thought that Duke was 1,200 and Gunner was like 1,050. But Gunner might be higher than that, and Duke might even be a touch higher than that.
That sounds right.
I know that Gunner has a ton of experience with team games.
Yeah, I think Gunner has told me he feels higher than his actual elo is. He doesn't play a lot of 1v1s.
Yeah, and I do think that the longer this goes, he'll find more stride in 1v1s. I think he'll be a real opponent to contend with soon.
Both players have found the opponent's base at this point. Well, Duke's scout has paused while he addresses his ego. And now he's on the move again. But Gunner has found Duke's base. Gathered a little bit of information. You see 3 on wood for Duke. Gunner could have caught that. And normally that signals you're going into scouts. Here comes a 4th one on wood for Duke. So as Khmer, you could go scouts and knights, or you could also switch into archers if you really wanted to. There's a 5th villager on wood for Duke now. Kind of idle, but he's there. You notice the scout for Duke not doing a lot of movement. Gunner's scout is very active. There's some forward villagers for Gunner, pretty far forward. 2 villagers. What do you think, a tower rush, maybe?
Well, from the Italians, he's starting with a house. So 2 is a very strange number to send forward. But Duke is walling already. Has even walled using the berries.
He might have seen these vills coming if he was noticing. Here's another note. We talked about Gunner not following build orders. Gunner has not even milled his house yet. He's actually went straight to gold instead of going to using the wood for the mill. Whereas Duke, classically on the mill or on the berries with 3 vills. Probably this wall.
So I think it's Tad. Is this an Italian Taddy rush?
Could be. Here's a forward archery range.
He's got nothing on food. He's only on wood and gold. He's stonewalling in his lumber camp.
This could be a Taddy rush.
This is great.
Like a Taddy rush. If it is, he will not make any more villagers. And
how is Duke going to defend?
Well, there's a hole left in his wall. This is pretty common if you shift click some of your walls. Sometimes they don't always finish all the wall. You know what I mean? They'll jump to the second section before finishing.
And look where that hole is. It's right where Gunner is building his archery ranges, but Duke sees it.
Duke sees it. Duke does not see the archery ranges, though. Does not know that Gunner is right outside of this. This is Taddy Rush. There's a 3rd archery range. So with this, if Taddy Rush is new to some people, you can come out of Feudal with 21 villagers. And if you go all to wood and gold, as you see Gunner doing, 10 on wood, 7 on gold, you can constantly produce out of 3 archery ranges. Normally forward ranges. Right in your opponent's base.
Boxer, can I give you a real live-time update?
Yes.
Breaking AoE news. That's how I'm justifying it. Parts turned my face into an emote.
Okay, that's not news. I was thinking
the emote says
Viper's coming back or something would have been news.
Well, this is bigger. It says team game elo matters. So I have a movement. I'm so excited. I have a flair for my movement. Anyways, back to the action where Gunner is trying to get inside, and Duke's response is 1 archery range and a blacksmith, so he's walled behind this pretty efficiently. Gunner is gonna place a beautiful tower though. Look at that tower, ensconced in the wood line.
Duke will not see that tower just yet. That'll force Duke off of one wood line. He does have one that's safe. So even if these other wood lines were to be towered, one is safe. Fletching just now coming in for Gunner. You'll see these palisade walls come down a lot faster. Also not sure why these archery ranges are idle for Gunner. I mean, he's not focused on his eco. I don't know what he's doing. That's kind of the benefit of this rush, is you don't care about the eco. You could be fully committed where you're at. And this is going so slow, I don't know that Gunner's getting the value out of it that he needs to.
Yeah, because you kind of start to wonder what they're paying attention to, if not the thing that they are doing, which is the Taddy Rush, you know?
Lucas is asking why Italians? Anything in particular make them good at the Taddy Rush?
Well, Lucas is a top 50 team game Empire Wars player. So if he doesn't know, then I wouldn't have a better answer for you. All I can tell you is that advancing to the next age is cheaper. Doc and university techs cost minus 33%, which does factor in eventually, I suppose, to chemistry and ballistics if you ever get there.
Yeah, you're not planning on going there if you do it at Taddy Rush.
Other than that, they have a Castle Age tech that gives extra armor to foot archers. But in Feudal Age specifically, I mean, they get fully upgraded archers in Feudal Age. So that's a benefit.
Fighting for my life.
So is Gunner gonna get in?
No, killing me with this.
Ever? Or
I mean, he's in, right? He's not doing
yeah,
damage.
he's
but
in. It just cracks me up when I see somebody, like if I see someone Taddy rushing and they're shooting a palisade, and then you see the palisade die, and then the archers don't immediately go in. I'm just thinking to myself, like, what? Did they just forget that they were Taddy rushing, or what? So now Gunner is microing against skirmishers. This always feels so bad to do. But I think the real play from Gunner here is going to be the fact that he is going to make so many archers that Duke will just become mentally overwhelmed. But he's still losing a lot of archers to these skirmishers, that for nothing as well. And his ranges are idle, even though he has the resources. Oh, because he's macroing his economy back home. He's moving 5 villagers from gold to wood, I think. Oh no, to food. He's decided he's gonna go get some food. So it's not gonna be an all-in.
Yeah, maybe he felt that he wasn't getting the value he needed. And so he's starting to look beyond feudal.
I wish that Gunner had just kept, like, sorry Duke, but I wish that Gunner had kept his ranges working from the beginning, because he would have a lot more archers right now and he could be threatening that group of 10 skirmishers from Duke. But Duke's not going to have a heroic Castle Age time here. He did get +1/+1, so both the attack and the armor for the skirmishers. Now Gunner is doing the smart thing, trying to come around the side. A barracks coming up for Duke. What does he need a barracks for?
I'm very impressed with Duke's defense here. I really did not think he was ready for this.
Yeah, but here comes Gunner on the other side. His army's not coordinated. They're sort of scattered. He could be in right now, but again, he's not paying attention. And the skirmishers are here. The village is just going back to work very casually, and Gunner loses more archers. I think Duke must be feeling like everything is just going perfectly for him right now, and he's barely having to do anything for it.
Yeah, I don't know if we're at the same time. What's your time right now? I'm trying to figure out what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'll pause for a sec.
What time?
I'm
is
at
it?
21:22.
Right, I'm at 22:35. Tell me when you get to 22:35.
Bro, what? Just tell me, dude. Come on.
I just noticed it. You were talking about the two armies, and I was like,
Jesus.
I was looking all over the
What-
map. I was like,
What were
"Damn,
you? Okay.
Probably earlier
Yeah,
when you
okay.
said.
Let
when
me
you said you
let me
stopped
catch
making
up
the
to you
game.
then.
Right, 22:35.
Let me catch up to you. 22:35.
Yeah.
Okay. 22:35. 22:35. I'm saying it because I'll forget it. 22:35. Okay. 22, 26, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35.
All right, we are taking donations to get Mackie a better computer.
Thank you.
All right, so kind of at a calming piece here.
Yeah, this is nice.
Duke's halfway to Castle Age. Yeah, foraging coming in for Duke. I'm thinking knights. Maybe I see one stable. And he does have skill barding, so Duke's definitely going into knights here.
He's handled this very well.
Yeah, very impressive.
This army of Scar, like I think the fact that he committed to making as many as he did, I think is key because, you know, on the ladder, even at my level, a lot of people, you know, they won't have more than they'll make like 3 or 4.
Look at this hole.
You know,
Duke's spearmen just walked through a hole between that house.
Yeah.
Now
and here
his
come the
skirmishers are
the
too.
skirmishers are going as well. You see, when you see a hole, use it to your advantage. And Duke's in Castle Age, and that's very scary because here come Knights. And what is Gunner gonna have? He stopped production. He doesn't have resources to get up. His economy is wacky. He's got 3 scouts in a stable, and he's making a market.
He could almost buy up at this point.
Yeah,
It'd be real
I'm nervous for
close.
him though.
But even when he buys up, he's so far behind on villagers. I do love this watchtower. I do not like the big trees, but this watchtower just kind of like sticking out of the big trees looks very
Sick.
cinematic. That needs to be the that's the YouTube thumbnail
That's
right
the-
there.
Okay, thank you, Boxer. Oh, Duke even deletes a palisade wall to get a better surround with these knights on these archers. Oh no, he deeks around them. What'd you think of those moves?
Not bad. Not bad. I was trying to think of a nice title. Some Lord of
Nice
the Rings
title?
theme like tower title.
I'll figure something out. I just read the Helm's Deep chapter. So I'm fired up.
Alright, Knights making short work of these handful of archers.
There we go.
If you're a gunner, you need to harass but keep as many archers alive as you can, because you need crossbow.
Yep. You need serious value for your units because you're just, I mean, you're just so far behind right now. 20 vills behind. Knights are coming into your base. The fact that he's stone, you can see why the stone walls are up though, right? Gunner is a hero when it comes to playing the long game. So let's see if he can drag this one out.
This woodline's about to be open though. He's about to overchop.
Yeah, and
He's
he
45
is
away.
hitting Castle Age though. So somehow he made it to Castle Age, and now we start. Like I think Duke handled the beginning really well. We're seeing him sort of slow down here now. But 28 minutes of the game, he does have a lot of knights coming forward.
There's crossbow coming in for gunner. I don't see any more town centers. Again, kind of with the Aristotle Seashell game. If you're a gunner and you know you're behind, I don't know why we're not making 3 TCs right here. You got enough wood for 1.
Well, I think at this point, if he had a castle and was making Genoese crossbowmen, which counter the knights, that would be something. But and I do see like Gunner has a lot of spots in his game where he could make his economy more efficient in the way he's playing.
I think the
And
overchop
by
is
now he
done.
could have a castle.
Overchop is done. The knights can get in.
Are they coming in though? Does Duke see it? I think he walks
He
past.
tried
it
it
looks
once.
like.
He's
Oh,
he's coming in.
oh, that's huge.
You know, it's when you're already
That's huge.
behind. You're down. He's down to 19 vills. These are Dark Age numbers.
This is very rough here.
Oh, and they get in on the
don't-
other side too with the Palisade.
Yeah,
I didn't even see
I
that.
mean, but Gunner's a gentleman, right? He's gonna let Duke have his fun here. That's what the people want to see.
We're getting down to like early Dark Age numbers now without a second TC.
We're almost in single digits, but I think they're all inside the TC, as you said. And now, what is Gunner gonna do? I like to think Gunner is now like he now leans back and just kind of goes, "Okay, think, Gunner. Now what?" He's fighting with scouts forward. Oh, he's sending crossbows in, Boxer. So he's doing a counter raid.
Yeah, that'll show him.
I mean, he's killing all of the skirmishers with those scouts. He now has +1/+1 crossbows coming in enough to deal with these knights if the knights trickle in. But he needs to get some serious damage done, and he's out of gold. His economy's back together though. Duke is kind of. Oh,
The
Duke's
economy
making
is not back
rams.
together. When you have
Let
14
me-
villagers that get 60, your economy is not back together.
Let me put it this way. Duke has left, and all of the villagers were just back to work, like nothing ever happened. The holes aren't even patched. Oh, one is. One of them is not. Scouts go down to knights, though. Duke's adding a second town
go.
center.
Probably the big fight.
Yeah, it looks like it might be.
If Duke can get this surround,
Duke won't. He's so finicky with his surrounds. It's so funny to watch. But here it comes. Gunner's trying
Probably
to
all
squish
Gunner.
himself.
Gunner's just kind of see what kind of damage he can do here.
Yeah, he's just researching at this point.
There it is. There's the GG. There's
Yeah.
always one last fight like that. But 49 crossbows coming out for Gunner. Almost entirely in
Well,
feudal age.
To be fair, most of those are probably archers, like you're saying, right? If he had 45 crossbow at the end of the game, he could have done something with that. But I do think that if Gunner executes a little cleaner and gets there a little sooner, there won't be as many skirmishers waiting for him. And if he doesn't have those idle ranges, because one of the things is if you're against one range and Duke was only on one range, 3 ranges will outpace even skirmisher production. So you will eventually get ahead with numbers. But you need to make sure you're not losing them on the way. So you have to keep your mass. Keep your mass of archers. Because they work in numbers. And then you can eventually have enough to overcome the one range skirmishers and push your way in.
Does Gunner not have a good civ for Taddy Rush? Gunner has Italians, Khmer, and Celts. I imagine Celts wouldn't be terrible, right? Because you can have a few less on wood.
And I think, there's also ideas of Gunner being able to do something in Castle Age or something like that. Doing a lot of crossbows in Castle Age, but I think he's still finding his stride here. I hope that we continue to see some innovation out of him, though.
Yeah. Well, I think the Taddy Rush is innovation, right? And the question between these kinds of games is the standard approach that Duke has. Can it pivot enough to handle whatever Gunner's going to throw at him? And today it did.
Today it did.
But I know Gunner's going to come back, probably not with Taddy Rush, but also not with Scouts and the Knights or Men at Arms and the Archers. Like Gunner's coming back with something crazy. And these two will see each other again later in the season.
Sounds good.
Azure version Jimmy. I believe this is Azure's home map of Continental. Let me double check. Yes. Azure playing his primary civ Malians. Jimmy playing a secondary civ of Japanese. The map is Continental. I don't think I've really ever played Continental. It looks almost like a nomad map. A lot of fish. There's water surrounding the mainland. There's a couple of bays and like a lake, an enclosed lake. Some useless ponds, but there's a few swordfish there on the ponds. Good wood lines. A lot of stone and gold nearby the TC. 2 boar. Berries. Some hunt. It's a pretty standard start resource wise.
Peaceful on
What's that?
Continental. It's very peaceful on Continental.
It's a very nice map. A lot of potential here. You could you could play it like Nomad. You could go heavy wood. Get out to fish early.
Yeah, I played this map a couple times. The first time I remember playing it was against a lobby game player who set it to 500 paw, giant or ludicrous map size. I can't remember which. A bunch of resources, post amp, etc., etc. And the funny thing was, it was basically like deathmatch, but we were so far apart, and the map was so crazy that just to figure out where each other were, it took so long. That we had fully built out our civilizations by the time we actually fought. And they played Kamai, and I think that was the first time I ever dealt with 60 ballista elephants.
All right, Azure. Again, this is Azure's home map. Coming forward with 2 houses in between some of these internal ponds. And that's smart. That'll make it very easy to wall. So 2 houses, a couple of palisades to hit the shorelines. And Azure will have one side of his base completely walled. And then 3 palisade walls a little further south, and he'll have an entire half of the map cut off.
Yeah, but the funny thing about this too is, despite your walling, you're up against a Japanese player, so they're gonna just make boats. But the fact that Azure is walling this early maybe says something to me about what they're trying to do with the Malians.
Jimmy's got a dock down first, fishing ship coming out. Azure is just now looking to dock. Jimmy has 9 on wood, Azure has 6. Jimmy's keeping fishing ships and villagers producing.
The walls for Jimmy are a little more interesting because you have this one mega wood line in the center of the map that Jimmy has claimed. How far in to the continent does Jimmy try and wall? Is he going to go for a land grab, or is he going to play passively? I'm very curious to see what these players do here. But it looks like the first dock coming in for Azure, one coming in for Jimmy as well, who already has 2 fishing ships. Azure does not have any yet, and is still walling.
Neither player knows that this bay on the right side is actually a bay. They don't realize, they might think that it could be a lake, and there could be a land connection here in the north. They haven't finished out their scouting just yet. Azure's also missing a little spot of land here that needs to get walled in.
Oh yeah. Which is why these walls are so tricky, because you really need to make sure you're scouting. He has scouted it though.
See,
just not filling it in.
Look at Azure's back. He's starting the palisade wall in the north for no reason. Like there's no way to get there unless you're looking at boats. But he doesn't know that.
Wanted to get started early,
Right, Jimmy's on hunt.
How does Azure?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but Jimmy has 8 vills on 1 ibex. It's kind of wasteful, right? Like you really want 3 to 4.
Yeah, I don't like I like to have either 3 or 4, but there's obviously situations where you're gonna want 8 vills on 1 ibex, but I would say this is probably not it, because now they sort of come back together. They all clump up. They hit against each other.
You can get more
And they're
food
also-
faster with not waste. I mean, I guess right
Yeah,
now
'cause
you're
they
not
also-
wasting anything, but
You're not wasting anything, but you're taking more trips. In the sense that, like, all 8 have to go to and back from each one, right? If you do it in groups of 4, each villager's only walking to 2 ibex, but in this way, they're all walking to all 4 ibex. So you're doubling the amount of walk time for your vills.
some idle
If my
TC
maths
time
are
for
correct.
idle TC time for Azure as he waits to get up. So Azure with 1.5 minutes, Jimmy with 30 seconds. That's both their idle TC times. That gives Jimmy a, let me see, actually the same number of villagers, but Jimmy has 2 more fishing ships. So
Yeah, that's a big deal.
I don't really know how that works.
Jimmy's dock is so cramped here because it's only got the narrowest strips of water between it and the edge of the map. So his fishing ships aren't getting a lot of fish here. They're on a short fish right now, which is reducing his fishing income. He needs to use maybe one of his fishing ships to go scout a bit more so that he can open up his fishing economy. But he's in feudal age now, and Azur's almost there as well.
Yeah, Azure's finishing off these walls. Notices the little spot, kind of the little land bridge right here that he's got to fill in. It'll be almost completely walled, save for the water, here in about 30 seconds. Jimmy not really thinking about walls too much anymore. Let's see if either
these-
player goes fire ships here and tries to fight on water.
I definitely think that somebody should send out some fire ships, and I can see Azure here is queued up 2,
Yep.
but there's only 1 dock. If you think about fire ships compared to something like scouts or archers, if you get a couple fire ships out and you win water because your opponent doesn't make any, which Jimmy is currently not, then you're pushing the equivalent of 6 villagers off of something. And the wood investment might not even be paid off on some of these fishing ships yet. So taking water can be significant, and Jimmy is still not looking to defend.
Jimmy's also not investing anymore in water either. So he may be trying to focus on land. That's one strategy I see. You should do a little bit of water investment, get some food out of here. And then just let the other person commit to water and you just kind of juke them and stay on land. Azure could go to castle right now.
Yeah, that's what fishing economies can do, right? I just am curious to see where the military strategy will lie here because neither players, aside from the fishing galleys that are coming out from Azure, neither player looks to be making... Oh, sorry. Jimmy has 3 scouts banging on the walls now of Azure. Fortunately, he has villagers close enough to defend in time. He's sending one forward. Gonna wall behind this, or perhaps repair. Yeah, builds a house behind.
Here's a market for Azure. I do not see the second feudal building. I saw Azure has the 2 fire ships, but he's using them defensively. Well, not pressure. Oh, here's a third one. A third fire ship will go to pressure.
It would be nice to see those going forward, especially if you're gonna go for 2 docks. But you never know from these players, especially when you see the scouts. Though, you're gonna know that Jimmy's not gonna have as many resources, and Jimmy is I think he needs to pivot with these scouts. They're not finding a purchase here.
It's a
There are other
blacksmith coming
sections.
up for Azure.
Yeah.
Jimmy potentially go to castle first.
I want Jimmy to land his scouts. That's what I really want to see. To build a transport ship and land.
Azure can click castle right now.
And look at this, Azure has his scout just in the base of Jimmy, just walked in. It's now under the town center. It's idols. The he has it on auto scout, and it just walked under the town center of Jimmy, and it walked back out, and it stopped underneath it.
The one thing I'll note, Azure has 3 minutes of idle TC time for no reason. You know, there's been hardly any
3
aggression.
minutes.
3 minutes out of 18. Almost
That's
19
with a
minutes
fishing
out.
economy, so you would imagine he would have the food.
Yeah, there's just been no reason to have that. Jimmy's had 30 seconds of idle TC time. It equates,
So that's like,
right now that's 3 villagers and wheelbarrow. 3 villagers and wheelbarrow difference.
holy smokes. That's a huge economic advantage.
So Jimmy is losing fishing ships to a
Yeah.
beat down fire galley. Here's a fire galley on the way, but Jimmy's not microing these ships at all. Another fire
Yeah, that's
coming
fine.
for Azure.
Water control on this map is massive as well, because if you can get a navy into some of these choke points and you can build around the choke points, you could have serious map control. Like, you could theoretically get your navy in all the way to where these 2 houses from Azure are in the middle of his wall.
Yeah, cannon galleons could have a field day on this map.
Oh yeah. Potentially ranging the town center, the starting town center of Azure. But Jimmy is now defending on water. Going for another town center. Castle for Azure.
It's kind of a very slow, methodical game, you know? Nobody's overcommitting to land, nobody's overcommitting to water. They're just kind of filling each other out and seeing, you know, who's going to actually make a big swing here.
Yeah, they're both kind of agreeing to let the game continue on without being too disturbed. Just poking at each other, testing the defenses, seeing what they can get away with. But yeah, like you said, not committing, because Azure was winning on water. He never sent his fire galleys forward, and if he had done that, he would have completely taken water control.
Oh, I'd like to see Azure's castle here outside the walls on this hill. I think you could have still protected that gold and stone, but it's not terrible. The scout's still hacking away at these palisade walls. Another fire ship coming forward for Azure. It'll be a minute before it gets there.
Yeah.
Jimmy's sending a fire ship forward. Let's see if they just pass each other.
I mean, Boxer, for the investment of 125 wood, Jimmy could have had 5 scouts in the base of Azure
Here it
that
goes.
he had already purchased.
You're on a direct collision course. And Azure actually had the patrol in. So Azure will kill Jimmy's ship.
Sure, eventually.
Alright, knights out for Jimmy. Japanese knights. Nothing special about knights with Japanese. They do have bloodlines.
What is Jimmy doing, though?
Cavalier.
Look at that. He's attacking like the most complicated sections of palisades. When they're like, if you look on the east side of the base of Azure, there were these palisades that were so far from any villager that Jimmy or Azure could not have actually gotten there in time to repair. The score's still quite even, though. Slight lead for Azure.
So now Jimmy's got quite a bit of idle TC time across 2 TCs. They're almost even. Bill counts are 46 to 48 in Jimmy's favor. Azure's making camels as he sees the knights coming in.
Yeah, I like the camels a lot.
Making a monk as well.
I like that too. I like to see some Gabetos from the castle. I'm not sure what else that castle was for. And And I do agree that you were right to question the placement of it. It hasn't seemed to be gotten. Villagers forward here though. A three villager castle from Jimmy.
Here the monk comes in. We'll immediately take a knight. It was the weaker knight though, so he'll die pretty easily.
And the camels trying to stop the castle.
Jimmy's almost in on the south side. Camels come through, they'll kill these knights. I think. No,
Wow,
well,
I mean, Azure has not microed this very well at all, and what went from being able to actually you could have denied that castle, and now what can he do to deny it?
I think Jimmy had a heal bonus right there, accidentally.
Yeah, he did. Just little micro things like that could have easily swayed that battle in the favor of Azure, and now he's got a castle on his front.
Now, neither player's thinking it, but Jimmy could drop knights and scouts into this eco with one transport ship. And just
It's
run
killing
through
me,
it.
man. It's killing me. Like, what's this map for? What's water for? For boats.
At any point
It's
in
not for
time.
looking at.
But it's not a normal map, you know. We play a lot of Arabia, a lot of runestones. You don't think with water in mind that much.
I feel like if your home map is continental, then you better start.
Your home map, or if it's the map you're playing against, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You have a map pool of 3 maps that you could be playing.
These knights are in. I think they can walk right in.
100% they can walk in.
There they go.
But no, it doesn't seem like anyone's microing anything. Here come the monk pushing the knights away. Remember though when Jimmy got in with those archers on the last episode and just obliterated with his micro? I want to see him using that micro on this push here with these knights and on his scouts. But he does have an economy set up behind with 3 town centers. He's got 1 boat within range of one of his town centers. He's not shooting it.
Minute and a half research time left before Azure is an imp. Jimmy is not an imp. Has decided to go all in with this castle age aggression. 15 Japanese samurai in a castle.
Let's have a 9-second creation time. Militia line has 21-second creation time for reference, so Jimmy can get a bunch of those out with
Yeah,
one castle.
You could flood samurai into a base.
Gebeta would be great to have here, but Azure has not made any.
So Jimmy's in, doing some eco damage.
Mostly causing chaos here. It's not a super strong army. The knights go down to the castle. But these scouts and spearmen just being so pesky. He's not committing the samurai yet, though, and it's Imperial Age for Azure, who has 1,400 gold. Queues up 2 trebs. Jimmy's castle might be in trouble here.
Alright, Jimmy's just now clicking imp. Did he buy up to imp? Or did that food just show up? Alright, here come
I mean, I don't know, to be honest.
the Gebettos. 4 of them. Just kind of exploring Jimmy's base. Defensive castle coming up for Jimmy. Azure
Well, look
sent
at
the
that.
Gebettos in and then just quit.
Look at that. With 4 Gebetos though, right? You encourage the dropping of a defensive castle, which otherwise may have been dropped in your base.
Yeah.
So from that perspective, it's great. The trebuchet is out, but it's not firing. And those Gebetos are cleaning up villagers and knights right now.
Oh wow, they killed that knight.
But it looks like they might die to poor orders. It was requested that they stand under a castle, and now they will get shot down.
Alright, Trebs coming into play. They're gonna hit Jimmy's forward castle. That castle it's housing a lot of samurai.
Yeah, I mean, too many. They're flooding out, and 4 barracks now in a row here for Azure.
You get some repairs on that castle, but there are no villagers close.
So the samurai. So what is Jimmy's plan now?
Oh,
The relics are
archery
out.
ranges are the plan. I don't know why archery ranges
How
are
many?
the plan. 4.
These archery ranges too are interesting because they're forward, but they don't actually have a castle in front of them anymore. Jimmy's now an Imperial. It's tragic that he loses that castle right when he hits Imperial, so he's not going to be able to get his unique text or conscription. However, based on his army comp for the Japanese, his unique techs are Yasama Towers and Kataparuto, so I don't think he's going to be needing either of those. Conscription is really the thing he wants, and of course, Trebuchet production. But it does have 1 defensive camel home now. Or sorry, castle. We saw too many camels today.
But Azure's still playing it defensive. Doesn't have much of an army to speak to.
Yeah,
Bringing on
I'm
a
kind
lot
of waiting.
resources.
I'm kind of waiting to see someone commit and make a move. I mean, look at these barracks. There's 4 barracks and 6 pikemen. So what were the barracks for? 2 stables now coming out. It's probably Farimba cavalry. Jimmy gets ballistics, more trebuchets.
Elite battle coming in for Azure.
Yeah, check that out. I don't hate that because what are you going to do to stop it? I guess Arbluster would be the play here from Jimmy.
You think Jimmy's making samurai to fight the Gebetto? Or does he just really
don't-
like samurai?
I don't know. I think that the samurai were good, but I feel like now they're starting to look very weak.
I mean, it just depends on what Azure does, and Azure's not doing anything.
Yeah, it's just not doing anything right now. Neither really is Jimmy. Jimmy's just slowly getting set up here. Some villagers being made. 1 fire galley patrolling around, and we're just kind of seeing 2 empires get set up here. Vill count is even.
They really don't have a lot of information on what the other one's making or building.
Yeah, no, there's not a lot of scouting, and I'm just shocked at how little the water is being used right here. Maybe both players are just not comfortable with it. Yeah, so the samurai are strong versus unique units and infantry, so theoretically, they would counter in some way the Gebettos, but an elite Gebetto does 15 damage, right? And the samurai only has 70 HP. So even with armor, enough Gebettos are still going to shred samurai. And they're fast.
Jimmy is lacking the final infantry armor right now.
Yep. And either way, if Azure can micro them and keep them firing from range, the Gebettos, then the samurai will just die. But Azure's giving him time. Like, this is where if you have 2 trebuchets, just poke them forward just to see what's going on.
Yeah.
A little bit.
There it
But
goes,
I guess
right as
both
you
players are
said.
busy. Nice.
Yeah, the trebuchets have tons of line of sight. Looks like he will be getting some shots off from the hillside.
Yeah, and this is starting to look pretty good for Jimmy. Because Azure's army is just not there yet in terms of numbers. Arbluster now for Jimmy. Looking pretty strong as that castle looks like it might go down. No repairs yet. And light cav from Azure coming forward now. But the army's small from Azure. And look at the way Jimmy's set his army up on this hill.
Jimmy's got ballistics, he's got full upgrades in the archers, armor and
Yep.
damage.
All is revealed now.
A little bit of a treb war going on. We get repairs on Jimmy's trebuchet.
And he's sending the samurai and the arbalesters forward. Everything's going forward for Jimmy. What does Azure do? He needs production. He's got 5
need
stable
this.
production of light cav right now.
Trying to get those
With
Trebs
14
out of
attack
there.
light cav. His Trebs are in a really precarious position, but I think those Arbalesters can still cover them.
Azur's gonna lose a Treb.
Yeah, this is looking pretty dicey for Azure. He needs to do something fast.
So these are for Rimba Light Cav, right?
Yeah,
They do extra damage,
14 damage.
but they don't
4
live
pierce
longer.
armor. No, I mean, against this number of Arbalesters, it's not as many as Jimmy probably wants, but the Samurai are holding everything in place, and now Jimmy's just kind of destroying things at his will. A defensive castle coming up for Azure behind, though, in the
Come
north.
to Gebettos. Gebettos versus Samurai. That's what we wanted to see.
So he's trying to micro them, keep them out of the range of the Arbalesters. That's pretty key. So the Samurai are dying, but the Light Cav are just dying faster. And there's not that many Gebettos. I don't see more being made.
They're definitely doing work on the Samurai just because of their range, if nothing else. But the Samurai are really just there as excess, to be honest.
Yeah, they're not needed at this point.
The archers are doing a lot of work on the Gebetto. Army counts are 46 to 16 in favor of Jimmy.
It goes down, and a TC is down as well.
Azur's pumping out light cav with a sweet shield for the Gebetto. But we got Jimmy Trebuchets just doing whatever they want.
I don't think he was expecting the Arbalaster switch because Elite Skirmisher would have been better here.
33 Arbalest for Jimmy. That's where I feel like this game played out like a lower elo arena game, where both players built up an army
Yeah.
with no information on what the other one was doing, and then they just show up and see who had the better comp.
Exactly. Exactly, and maybe that's just not being used to the map like you were saying. I think as this map goes on, we'll kind of see it be like Budapest, where people start to realize that there's nothing to be afraid of. You just kind of play your game. I would like to see more water in the next one, but hey, Azure still has an opportunity to come back here. But I don't think he's switching into the composition that he needs. He is trying to get raids out, which I think is a good decision, just to see if he can slow down Jimmy. But another castle falls. The Treb is down though. It's just these Arbalesters left for Jimmy.
Yeah, Jimmy could use a forward castle. He's got the stone for it. He even has a forward Vil. It would take a minute, but you could drop one.
Yeah. I mean,
These
there's...
archers are moving forward, just slaughtering Gills wherever he wants. Go count
Yeah, this
71
is-
to 94. That includes fishing ships right now.
This is pretty brutal. I don't know what Azure can do here. The Vil count is 95 for Jimmy, only 66 for Azure here, so the raids are showing their damage.
17
Large
of
farming
those
economy.
66 are fishing ships. There's really only
Oh, ye-
46 Vils on the field for Azure.
Yeah, it's been key that Azure has had that fishing economy. He is trying to make another town center on the left there, so I don't think he's considering himself out here. We could be in for a long one. In terms of gold and stone, I'm trying to see what's left on the map. Relics are still available.
Azure got 3 blocks of gold left, it looks like.
Yeah, but now he's just lost his town center that was adjacent to them, so I don't know if he'll be able to gather those. Maybe Azure might, or Jimmy might be able to even come forward and take it. But here come the light. Here comes the charge of the light brigade.
Actually,
Oh,
Azure,
Mangonel.
Azure has 6 blocks of gold left. 3 of them are under Jimmy's control now.
Yeah, Jimmy, very aggressive town center, and Azure's entire army is getting decimated. He calls GG. I feel like that was economic dominance and military dominance at the same time there for Jimmy at the end.
Yeah. Again, a little bit of, I don't want to say luck, but neither player had an idea what the other one was doing with military, and they just kind of walked in. And I feel like Azure didn't have a ton of military when that fight started. I think he had 15 units, so I think he was kind of banking up resources and hoping to pivot once he saw what Jimmy was doing. But Jimmy walked in with 40 to 50 units, and that's not
Yeah.
enough time to pivot.
Yeah, that's the thing is you can say to yourself, I want to pivot, but if they walk in like I want to see what they're doing and then pivot. But if you don't have an army to hold the army that they bring to you, you are not going to have a chance to pivot because you're just going to be dead. If there had been 30 Gavedos there, how different would that have been? Even with those Arbalesters coming in, at least they maybe could have held for a while. Or if you have a bunch of Molly and barracks, right? Why don't you make the Molly and champions or something like that? Because your barracks units have extra pierce armor, so you could even make. I mean, you could just make trash. At least they won't die that fast to the Arbalesters. Then you can figure out what you're doing from there.
Eco is pretty balanced, really, with either player having a lead depending on what point in the game you're in. All right, Takedown versus Captain Jow. This is Takedown's home map of Aftermath. Second time we've seen Takedown play this map. First time was against Styrker. Styrker was not ready, but Captain Jow is, as we see. Well, never mind. Takedown taking his scout immediately to the workshop. These two trade workshops basically give you, what do we count, 3 extra vills worth of resources?
Yeah, I think if you control both, it's something like 6 vills in your favor. But, dude, can I fangirl for a sec?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm not sure how to like express this, but basically, so Takedown 66, aka Zach, he's been playing a ton with Rokola and Rokola's crowd, right? Which includes Benji Chalu, who's also in the Kings League. Basically, when you play with those guys, they play very aggressively, not just in the game, but like the attitude, right? Like you just push it. You're trying to push your limit. So you end up playing you can be quite an intense player from that perspective. On the flip side, Conquistador, aka Captain Jow, who I'll now call just Captain Jow, does not use hotkeys. There's a couple hotkeys that he maybe uses, but for the most part, he only plays with his mouse. But he is an absolute clown, and he, out of everyone in Kings League, would have the highest elo, but that elo would be founded basically on arena games, right? So this is a total clown map. Conquistador already saying, "Oh shit, what's going on?" Trade post.
Forgot about the trade
no.
post.
So you can see basically Jow. It's like if Jow loses, then all you can say is, "Well, you should have looked at the map before you started."
Takedown just lost a Vil to a bear. So there's that.
So, I mean, it could be worse, right? But Jow doesn't know that. So I hope that Jow is feeling like fired up and like he needs to crush.
Takedown has had both trade outposts. Captain Jow now has both trade outposts. So it's a good start for Captain Jow. Something Styrker didn't grab earlier.
Well, Styrker, I mean, if you remember from the Captain Jow, and folks, if you didn't see it, it was an excellent game. I think it was in the second episode. But Styrker and Takedown went at it, and basically Styrker was like doing the comedy of errors, like running after Takedown, trying like grab this trade post, and then Takedown's already there to re-grab it, and it was so tough to watch because like Styrker was trying everything he could think of, but at the end of the day, Zach just kind of had the map experience.
The takedown, taking one of the trade posts back. He's also already making a barracks and getting militia out. No barracks for Captain Zhao, so Captain Zhao will probably be losing both trade workshops pretty soon. That early barracks and that early militia, not even to drush, just to hold the workshops, is critical in getting a lead,
Yep.
or at least preventing a lead. If you can hold one workshop, it's at least an even game.
And yeah, exactly. And when I first started playing, I first started playing this map when it was coming out for Empire Wars, and then later it came out in the 1v1 pool, but you got a barracks to start. And so I was just playing hyper aggressive, like all in. I'll just make as many militia as I need to make sure I control these things. And that was free low for a while.
All right, so takedown starting to micro. He did not get first hit on these scouts, so it's important that he does not engage. He also
The good
walked
news
right
is,
past
yeah.
the workshop, didn't grab it.
Oh, here comes the militia.
Oh, so that'll put the fight in takedown's favor on the eastern workshop. Western workshop is now in takedown's hands.
Zhao
Captain Zhao's
takes
gonna
out,
run.
takes off, I should say, and I like that decision making from him. Just play it smart. He's going for a barracks. So I like the way he's doing this. He is still fighting for control. He's accepting that he's going to be at a short-term disadvantage, and he's not letting that snowball by just throwing stuff away.
Zhao is already clicked a feudal. Takedown needs a few hundred more food to get there. So he could use that feudal advantage to get up. Zhao's already going to gold. So maybe we'll see some archers come out. I think archers would be a good play.
Yeah, and Conquistador, aka Captain Zhao, playing Slavs, which is they have a great economy, so you can still potentially catch up to Saracens, right? But the other great thing here about this is Zach will be getting such a flood of resources from his two. Oh, but hold on, Zhao has snuck out the left workshop from
Yeah,
under the militia of Zach.
With some micro, he can hold it, but Zach's
look at
gonna
this
go
split
around both
micro.
sides.
Split micro, a different sort there. That was nicely done.
All right, so Captain Zhao's gonna lose it. That was gonna be short lived anyway.
Yeah.
All right, an archery range and a stable coming down for Captain Zhao as he hits feudal.
Okay, so he's kind of just going for the full, like, I'm gonna have three
Gurm
buttons.
Scouts, maybe.
Well, he's basically ready to counter whatever, because what you're trying to do right now is you're trying to counter both through unit composition and out micro fighting. You want to be able to take these hills, right? So you kind of just have to be able to beat whatever's on top of one of those hills at any given time. And right now, Zach has that mental struggle of, okay, do I split my forces or do I try and hold both? But you can't hold both forever if somebody focuses an army on one or the other at the right time.
That will be scouts and archers. And I think
This
just
is really
from
interesting.
watching this map and playing it a few times already in different tournaments, I really think you just focus. If you're behind like this, as far as you don't have both workshops, I think you just take one. Take one, hold it, and then just play a normal game. Start adding pressure to the eco.
Yeah, you can take one, hold it with your army, and then start scouting the other one, right? And then like when you can build up some reinforcements and then go take it on the other side, because you never know when the person's not paying attention. But you can see that's what Zhao's doing. He's actually just barely holding the one on the east, sending his scouts now to the other side. So he's going very aggressively. I think he's feeling confident that he can take both, perhaps with micro, or just being committed. But it's two ranges coming up for the Saracens player, Zach.
Let's see how Zach responds. This will be the first time we've seen Zach actually have to defend these workshops and not just have them handed to him, basically. I like the archers and the scouts combination.
I like it as well.
You know, you see
How will it hold up to two range archers from Zach?
You see scouts and skirms. I don't see a lot of scouts and archers.
Mhm.
Yeah,
But
decent job of
obviously, like Zhao's micro is fantastic because like his main strategy is playing Lithuanian monks on arena. So he's very good at micro, especially because he mostly only uses one hand. His micro hand is his right hand. He's very fast.
All right. Both
And cleans
workshops
it up
are
on-
now in
yeah.
Zhao's hands. But takedown massing an army of spears and archers.
He needs to be careful though not to just flood in and just sort of die. You know, I think he's
His
getting
scouts
an
are
okay
so
fight
hurt,
here,
though.
but
Ooh.
so he
barely
wins
take
it. But
this.
I don't know who
That was
that
a good
was
fight.
really- That's one that I would like to go back and rewatch later on. So I might, after I post the episode, I might go back and rewatch that because that was very complicated
Military
for a
value.
feudal fight.
I don't know who got the better upper
Exactly
hand,
right.
but Zach got the workshop back, and that's worth
Yeah.
more than any of the military there.
So that means Zach is more like a Ulysses S. Grant figure, right? Focused on the macro.
I don't know how to put this in Canadian. It's kind of like in hockey, like maybe you tie at the end of the game and there's a penalty shot. I don't know hockey stuff.
Oh,
Something
we
like
have
that.
yeah. We have overtime
Oh, you have overtime. Okay, so you're not like,
and then penalty shots.
okay, my bad. Kind of like a penalty shot then, where you win. Like you tied, but you win.
Right. It's the opposite of a Pyrrhic victory. You lose everything, but you still gain enormous advantage because the things you lost didn't really matter, anyways.
All right, so Takedown is heading towards the second workshop. He wants both. He has also just clicked Castle. And Captain Zhao's not close to Castle. So for Takedown, he's going to make this a fight about the workshops.
Yeah, I think it's like the workshops or die trying because that's the advantage here, right? And if if in your mind you go, I will always go for workshops, and your opponent ever strays from that, then you will get the workshops. And if your opponents go always for the workshops as well, then the worst case scenario is you're just going even, or you're having to fight for them, and then he's going to be the one that gets the best at fighting for workshops, right?
All right, Zhao's rebalancing the economy, trying to get up to Castle. He can feel that Castle coming for Takedown. So I do
Yeah.
think that's telling for Takedown though. He wants both workshops. If you as Zhao can take and hold one, that's gonna hold Takedown's attention for a while. And you can start doing some raids, getting into the base. The eco,
Right.
we're fighting over 6 villagers, right? There's 40 at home that you could be raiding
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
And here goes Takedown, moving forward. He got the advantage. He wants to press it. Immediately finds a wood line. I don't know if this was scouted already. It was not scouted yet, so he just walked into a wood line. That'll hurt. Captain Zhao only has
That's a nice
91
find, yeah.
woods. Pulled up. It's 4 villagers dead for Zhao.
Yeah, that's rough. That's rough. And that's where you start to feel like that 6 villager advantage from those workshops can start compounding. You can lose a few,
Guards at
but
home
the
for
gap
Zhao.
grows.
And look where Takedown's massing his archers at, on one of the trade workshops.
Yep, it's very smart.
Those archers are now
Smart boy.
crossbows. He's gonna take this fight while he's got the tech advantage.
I think he should have tested it, taken one shot, a pot shot.
Yeah.
See how it goes.
Maybe looking for a heal.
But he could also just be fleeing because he might want to go put up some town centers, some additional buildings. He is building a second town center back at home, so he's not fully committed into military here, and his score lead is getting gross. Two staples coming up for him actually.
Doing a good number on these skirms. Knocking them out before they get upgraded.
Yeah, and Zhao's actually microing there.
Here's a, maybe
That's
a
where
little
the
bit of
keyboard
an
can be really helpful.
overcorrection, but a castle being dropped to protect Zhao's wood line.
Yep.
Jal's going
It's
into
also
knights.
touching the gold, but I don't know. Yeah, I think things are really starting to fall apart for Zhao here.
Yeah, just looking at population numbers, 66 for takedown, 38 for Jal. Those are not great numbers. Okay, here's a little bit of a knight archer engagement. Castle will come up
Yeah.
for Jal.
Some mismanagement of the knights here. I think that this could have been an easy cleanup for him, but now it's starting to get close. Oh man, this fight is crazy. These workshops have just caused so much disturbance, but I think Zach is firmly in control of the workshops at this point. I don't know if they'll ever go back into the hands of Zhao.
Yeah. Takedown is massing archers on one workshop, knights on the other.
Warriors on
and
the
cannons.
this might be a bad moment here for Zach. He needs to be very careful with these archers. There's actually quite a few knights, and there's boyars coming out now, which are very tanky.
Alright, Jal sending one boyar to the trade workshop just to see what's there. Gotta think he
Camels,
will
though.
run away when he sees the knights being massed.
Smart play here from Zach to go camels. That's the other beautiful thing about these workshops too, is that as long as you're building your economy,
Jal's
if
calling
you're
it.
holding, he's calling it. Yeah, there's nothing for him at these workshops. He's stuck at home.
It's very tough. I think what I keep seeing with takedowns opponents is they want to be at both places at once. They want to have both workshops instead of just settling for one, maybe dropping a few towers or a castle on it, and then moving out.
Yeah, that was. I mean, it's a tough situation because I feel like Zhao made it pretty far into the gauntlet of aftermath, but Zach just had the lead, and I think it's gonna hurt the fact again, like the fact that Zhao didn't realize that there was workshops. I mean, I feel like if Zhao had played this map one time, he would have been thinking to himself all week like how he was going to destroy Zach. But because he played really well once he realized there were workshops. I thought he handled it really well, but he was just behind.
Yeah, and I don't think that it's over right now.
No,
It's close, but
it's very hard to come out of this though.
he's a lot more in the game than Steerker was at this point in time.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, Lucas Dukas says this is a great map for Saracens, and I agree.
Yeah, because you can balance your economy so easily, and that's something that currently Zach is actually in the finals of Wandering Squires for his bracket, that tournament that that I got disqualified from. But I was playing on maps with Saracens against him, and I was just saying I think Ray had told me that the Saracen strategy on some of these ones was so good because he's just like, yeah, you just secure the gold and all you do is make archers or whatever. So I think Zach has adapted this idea here so well. You have these 6 villagers that you're basically gathering extra resources and you can just convert those into whatever you need to get the job done. Secure the mounds and then slowly apply pressure on the forbidden city.
Mackie, how did you get disqualified from that tournament?
So basically, I didn't submit my recordings on time. I was a day late. They had sent me a couple messages in the server in the bracket, and I didn't reply to those. And the follow-up messages continued to come in through there, so of course I didn't see them. So, yeah, if they had direct messaged me, obviously I would have done it straight away, but they didn't. So, yep, that's the end of my tournament. Oh well.
I think you can see here on the statistics. Early on, these lines go back and forth as they trade off the workshop, but at the end, there's just a clear advantage for takedown. And he's a high enough player that he's going to spend those resources. And so that little gap in between the two resource gathered is going to be put to use.
Yeah, it's so who's going to take him on next on Aftermath, because they'll need to have an even better plan. But we haven't really seen somebody really challenge him for those trade workshops straight from the beginning.
Yeah, not at all. I think Zhao would have if he had recognized it, but he obviously forgot. But didn't do a terrible job of getting it back.
But it's like Duke says here, right? If Zhao recognizes that this is Aftermath and that there are these trade workshops, does he go Aztecs instead? Play something that's, you know, a little more micro focused? Does he end up going for monks and siege and things like that? Which is really interesting. And then he would have, you know, earlier militia, as Seashell says. So some great games though. I'm glad that we got to those. I've been looking forward to those for a while. Wow. Some very technical, like that last one, there's just so much happening. There was so much back and forth.
Yeah, I like Aftermath in this tournament because it does add another level. And I like Aftermath in this higher elo bracket. Because it does add a twist to their game. They can't just play a clean, normal game. They've got to factor this extra.
Yeah, exactly.
Extra element in.
Because like Boxer, I've gotten the sense that some people are interested in just playing Arabia. You know, like it seems like they just want to play their standard game, and so they just want to play Arabia. But then there's other players who realize, no, I can have like an evil layer, and I can lure them into it, right? And I can have all sorts of doom come upon them.
Yeah, and that's the home map concept, right? The home map is there for you to select it, build a strategy on it, and they've got to come into your place and get a win off of you. And I think we've seen some players take advantage of that. Other players, not so much. And then you've got players like Duke who took runestones because he didn't want that anyway. He just wanted a very clean, normal game. And that obviously worked tonight against Gunnar. So
yeah. So this might be too soon to talk about, but I'm starting to think about wildcards and who I would be interested in seeing play who. And I feel like there's got to be some fantastic matches up, even just like going up or down one bracket to see certain players play other players. Just matching different play styles against each other. Because I think the home map concept is really introducing the idea of counterplay a lot here, where it's like in this one with Zach, you can see what he's doing, and same with Mike Jet, you can see what they're doing, and you can sit there and you can watch it and you can go, okay, they made this mistake, they have this much ILTC time, I can do better, but then you actually have to go prove it.
Well, you mentioned playing up or down one bracket. Week 4, we actually do that for the first time. So weeks 1, 2, and 3, we trade off within our own bracket. You play everybody in that bracket once for the first 3 weeks. Week 4, you're either going to play up a bracket or down a bracket. And we will get some interesting matchups out of there. Let me see if anybody stands out. Mike Jet and 95 Bricks will be playing.
Be a great game.
And that'll be at Bricks. So that'll be at presumably.
I like that. But that's so fascinating because we've already seen those two players play on that map. And we're talking a City of Lakes here. So what will happen? Because even like Mike Jet, the dinosaur himself, you know, his play has evolved a lot.
We're gonna see. I'm just trying to call out some games that could be interesting. Takedown is going to play against Combat Disco at Combat Disco's home map or Arabia.
Pretty interesting
Disco
because they both
decides.
have kind of like this similar energy to them. I feel like they're both groovy dudes that like to just sit down and slap their opponent.
Let's see. We saw Seashell tonight. Seashell will go down and play DJ CJ3. So that could be an interesting game.
It'd be very interesting. I want to see what CJ does against an early scout rush.
Obviously, Green Bay is going to be a fun game. Green Bay will be playing Benji.
That should be good. I would like to take a second though, because it's been a long episode and I'm just hearkening back to that first game with Green Bay. That was ludicrous. Watching him just eliminate a player in such brutal fashion. Like that game, the pinnacle of that game was like 40 vills on the map, 40 population, and then it just shrank from there
There's been a lot of fun games so far, and I'm sick that we missed half of the week 2 games. And I think we specifically saved some of those that we knew were going to be awesome for tonight.
Yeah, and that is sad. But so I'm moving to Australia in 2 weeks. So once I get there, not only will I have my life back, and I will have an office, so I won't be in my bedroom in my parents' house anymore, which I'm very much looking forward to. They're lovely people, but I'm excited to be able to have my own office and stuff. So at that point, I'll be probably spending as much time as possible hiding from my in-laws. So I'm definitely going to be looking forward to getting more episodes out to the viewers.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
Boxer, before we go, you got any last words?
So I'm excited. I don't want to have a repeat of this week where we miss half the games. Obviously, excited that the devs are updating AoE 2, but disappointed that those updates break our ability to watch these games. So we'll work on something. We talked about earlier in the stream tonight that maybe we'll watch these games as they come out. So within a day or two, we'll do a cast. They might be smaller casts. The YouTube videos might be a compilation of that week, or maybe they'll be one game at a time. We'll break those up. So we'll see. But yeah, I do apologize that we missed some of those games. I'm probably more sick than you guys are, but yeah, we'll stop that from happening. And I'm excited. You guys that haven't finished week 3, finish those off, and we'll cast those as soon as we can. And feel free to get started on week 4 games if you haven't already. You don't have to wait for us. And I'll also be posting weeks 5 and 6 here in the next few days, so you can start eyeing towards those. Week 4 marks the halfway point of the season. We'll have 4 weeks after that, which really, since we're doing 2 weeks at a time, it'll be 8 weeks before that's over. And yeah, we'll get some numbers. I saw some people asking about kind of record counts, who's got number of wins, number of losses. If we haven't played your game, I'll reach out to you and just see who won and who lost, so we can at least get those numbers updated, even if we can't view the games. So hopefully you guys remember. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if we'll have any serious arguments between any players. All right, Boxer, it's been a pleasure. Any productivity tips for the viewers before we go?
I did not come prepared with one. I don't have anything.
Is that in itself a productivity tip?
That's probably a result of not being productive. Is not being prepared. So no.
All right. Well, I'll give you a productivity tip for the week. In all seriousness, batching So I learned about batching, right? Where you're supposed to like don't wash one dish at a time, wash all the dishes at once. But what I'm realizing is you can batch like different categories of activity together. So for example, I can be exercising while listening to a podcast. And then if I do that in nature, then I can also be like enjoying nature at the same time. You see what I'm saying?
I think they call that stacking.
Stacking.
Yeah,
Who
you can
calls it
stack.
that?
I don't know, the productivity people.
Cool. Well,
Cognitive
I'm stacking. I'm stacking, folks. I don't know about you, but I'm stacking.
Well, that's a good tip. Batching's good, stacking's good.
All right, Boxer. I will catch you soon.
As they say in Australia. Goodbye. Because they speak English.
They do. They do speak English, and they say that. They say a lot of other things that we can't say on here too. But this is Kings of Age, folks. We are of the Kings League. It's Boxer and Mackie out.